All right, we'll open it up here. First of all, want to say it was a great opportunity this past week to go on the road and open conference play. I thought our kids handled everything pretty well. Felt like they played about as hard as they could play, effort-wise, and really stuck together as a team and battled back under some. Not everything went perfect. We're still not starting as fast as I would like, and on both sides of the ball, we didn't do a great job of that. But the thing I did like is the way they battled back. They stayed together. They kept on grinding it out. And against a good football team, against a well-coached football team, Coach Bailiff does an unbelievable job there at Rice. And, the biggest difference I thought last week is they had a great week of preparation. I thought it was their best Tuesday, Wednesday as a football team. And it carried over throughout the game. As the game went on, I think the confidence was still there, and so that allowed them to make some plays down the stretch that maybe they wouldn't have been able to make in previous weeks just because of the total preparation. So I was pleased with how our guys prepared this past week. We still have a long way to go on all three phases. None of the three phases are as clean as we need them to be right now. But we still got to just continue to work and grow up, mature, and get better on all three phases. And we need another great week of preparation leading into our second conference game against Middle, against another unbelievable team. Had a great win this past week, and there's no doubt in my mind they're one of the top teams in the conference. So, it's a great opportunity for us to have a great week of preparation, get them at home, and play well together.
Obviously, you believe in your system because it's worked for you for years, but how important is it for these guys to feel that early success, especially the preparation part where, you tell them Tuesday, Wednesday matters on Saturday, and now they're seeing this firsthand and experiencing it for themselves?
I don't understand the question. Do I believe in this?
How important is it for them to get a feel for, I guess to buy into what you're saying because now they're seeing the results of it?
That's huge. I thought last week was a big week for us because, again, for a lot of different reasons. But more than anything, just continuing to learn how to practice, and making sure those Tuesday, Wednesday practices, how important they are. And it's not only the offense, defense, it's also the look squads. It's also, getting the proper looks, getting the enough tape, even on that side of the ball, seeing what their opponent's trying to do to us, and being able to simulate it as best as possible throughout the week. And again, just learning how to practice. And I'll tell you what. Last week it was probably our best week of coaching as well. And that's something we have to continue to grow and develop as well. It's not just all about the players. We got to do a better job as coaches throughout the week as well. So it's a two-way street. I thought overall our preparation was the best last week. And it's always good when you make a point like that and you do have some success. Yes, that's huge because now you can continue to coach what you believe in. And there's no doubt in my mind I believe in having strong preparation and the way you practice. And again, the confidence it builds throughout the week and the chemistry it builds throughout the week between coaches and players alike. You don't have false confidence on the weekend. Doesn't mean you're going to win every single week. It means that you give yourself an opportunity to go out there and compete and win. Poor preparation, very rarely do you even have a chance. And so, yeah, it's big. And again, we got to continue to find ways to put our players in better situations to be successful as well. So it's a two-way street.
It'd be a big momentum builder for this program to pick up a win like that on the road at a place like Rice.
Yeah, it should be. All those wins are, the more you win, the more confident you get, the more momentum you get. And confident teams week in and week out, they're usually the best teams, and they're all big, but you got to start somewhere. And I felt like we felt confident throughout the week and weekend that we had a great matchup, felt really good about the matchup, and felt that you just go out and play and play together, we'll be pretty successful. Now, I think our effort was great. I don't think we still executed on really offense or defense as well as I would have liked. We left a lot of things out there, and again, you have to give Rice a lot of credit for that. but at the same time, we got to get better. And our men know that. I mean, we watch the film, and the tape doesn't lie. That's what we talk about every week. You can see it on tape, what you're doing, whether it's you're not executing, maybe too many loafs at certain times, maybe out of a position or two. You know, we just got to get better overall. But I thought, as a team, they stuck together extremely well. That's what I was really pleased with, because they never. Again, it's been like that every week. They've been pretty good about, you know, sticking together, taking strain off each other, keep fighting. They've done a good job of that. Now it's time to. We got that covered. All right, we're gonna continue to do that. Now let's get better at execution.
How excited are you about the way they responded? There was a lot of adversity throughout that game, down 17-0, and they come back and you get the lead. They come back and tie it. There are a lot of opportunities there where they could slump their shoulders and just say, you know, today's not our day. That never happened. How exciting is that for you to have that group of guys that are buying into that level?
It's great, and for that reason, you know, that they're buying into what we're talking about, and that's something we stress. Continue to play, don't blink, don't look at the scoreboard. It has nothing to do with that. We'll figure out if we won the game, you know, after the fourth quarter, and it's huge. And I think it just goes to show you it'll build that confidence, and you can't come back from deficits like that if you don't have that mentality. It just can't happen. I've been in a lot of games through a lot of years, around a lot of programs that we've had some pretty big comebacks. We've started slow at times and came back, you know, I think 24 at one point, maybe 31 in one game I've been a part of. We came back and won the football game. So it's never over. You still compete, you still grind. Eventually, you know, the thing we talk about the most is adversity is going to come in every game. It may come in the first play, it may first quarter, first half. I don't know, and it may stick with you a little bit. The biggest thing is how do you overcome that adversity as a football team and turn the momentum around and flip the adversity back on them. Because at the end of the day, one team's not going to be able to handle it as well as the other. And when it comes down to it, you're probably going to win the football game if you overcome adversity better than the other team. The other night, we just made one more play than they did. We were that much better the other night, and that's it. We made one more play when it counted than they did, and that's all it takes. We still got to get that much better this week and continue to grow and prepare the right way. Excuse me?
What can a win like that do for a team?
It builds confidence, but you're still going to have to go out. You still got a lot of other games on your schedule that, to me, it builds confidence, but right now it doesn't mean anything. This week doesn't mean anything. Every week's different. Every week, it's 1 week at a time. It's one opponent at a time. There's going to be a whole different type of preparation for what you're playing against, a different environment. Now you're back at home. But it's still, every week it's a different opponent, and we're 0-0 this week, and we got to get 1 week better and see where the chips fall after that. And I feel like our kids understand what we're looking for in preparation. So I feel good about where we're at. We just got to continue to get better.
Why has it been so hard to get the offense going early in the first quarter?
It's a good question. If I knew that, I promise you I would be changing that. You know, some of it's us. We got to do a better job getting them in rhythm. We got to do a better job of executing, you know, at every position. If you look across the board at first games and you look at it, we've had on early possessions, it's either a personal foul that sets us back. It's every week's been a little bit different. 1 week it was a personal foul that got us behind the chains. This past week we screwed up a twist up front and we dropped an easy ball in the flat that's probably going to get you a first down. You know, so every week's a little different. We just got to settle in. I think some of that's, you know, I wouldn't say confidence, but just being comfortable early. And you just got to go out and make plays. I mean, sometimes that's when and it's every team. I mean, you go out there, you're either too amped up or you're a little bit nervous and getting into the flow of the game. You know, we just got to do a better job of handling, you know, the emotions of it, all the things that come with early football and jitters and all that stuff. So we'll get better.
Coach, you got a pretty big game out of Kenny Byers.
How has he looked now that, or how does it look now that he was able to get a game like that under his belt after transitioning wide receiver from defensive back?
Yeah, happy for Kenny. And again, I told y'all there's going to be a time every week. I mean, those guys, for what we do offensively, we spread it around. And different weeks, different guys have big games. And I was happy for him because he hasn't been targeted as much as probably he would have liked to have been. But the thing, he kept fighting, he kept grinding, he's getting better every week. And this week they had some, some of their things that we were trying to attack. He was a big part of that, and he was going to be a big part of that game plan. So, he had a big night on catching the football. I think he had over 100 yards receiving. But to be honest with you, that's not what I was most impressed with. I was most impressed with the blocking, just being physical without the ball in your hands. I think on the long touchdown run with Jeffrey Wilson, that's a huge block right there. He doesn't get enough credit for the block he made on the alley defender, and then also another player on that play, and that just goes to show you the effort during practice and the strain. Our left tackle made one heck of a play, and getting down and blocking a safety. And so, in weeks past we may have, my guy's not there, and look back, or been a little. He just went. He ran and found somebody else. Someone took his. He's going to go take theirs, and it was a great effort on Alex's part. So that's what we have to have. It's not so much the plays you're making when the balls are in your hand. We got to do that. That's execution. It's when you're not getting the football, whatever it is, how are you playing without the ball in your hands? And that's key. And I thought he did a great job of that.
Teams that struggle often when they turn around, find that turning point. Did you have a sense after that game that this has the potential to be a turning point for this team to get a win like that?
Again, they're all confidence builders. Every team, you still got to go out and win. I've been a part of teams that have started really good early, and they didn't finish very well. Last year I started with a team that was 0-1, and we ended up going 11 straight. So it's momentum, it's confidence, it's still preparation throughout the week. Turnaround, I don't know. I got to focus in on this week, and that's really all I can prepare for.
Made some changes to the offensive line last week. How did that work out for you?
Good. Yeah, I thought Alex did a good job at left tackle. Rotated some other guys in the interior, and I thought they played well. I thought it was a better lineup this week, and we got to continue to get better up front. And some of it's we got to continue to get better and develop, but also at the same time we got to continue to can't put too much stress on anywhere I've been. That's a hard job. The five up front's the hardest job you have. Whether you got all five guys got to be perfect, and if you're not, it shows really quick, and everybody sees it. Everybody sees when an O-lineman messes up. It just is what it is. So we got to get better. We got to continue to develop, and we got to put those guys in the right situations to be successful.
Moving forward, do you plan on evaluating your personnel?
Every week, every single week. Every single week. It doesn't matter what position, you're always going to be evaluated. And we try to figure out the best players to play. We want the best guys out there making plays for us. We got to build depth too. You got to have depth. You can't just be 11 guys every snap the whole game either. So we're always evaluating personnel and getting better.
You sense some enthusiasm around the program after that win at this point?
I haven't been out in the community as much. I've been working, so I haven't had the opportunity to be out much. But our players, they feel good, like they should after a win. You go on the road and you compete. You beat a competitive opponent. Yeah, it should be a momentum changer. But again, that doesn't, just because you do it once, how many times can we do it? That's the real question.
You have a real tough stretch coming up with Middle Tennessee. Looks like maybe be one of the better teams in the league. Marshall's always good. And then you got to go to Army, and Army's playing really well. Is this going to be a tough stretch for this team as you look forward?
If I try to look at all, it's overwhelming. And it doesn't matter where I've ever been. If I start looking at 3, 4, 5 stretches, and I can't do it. It's just too overwhelming for me. All I can focus in on this is 1 week at a time, and that's all. I mean, we'll prepare for that week, and that's all my brain can handle. I'm not smart enough to look that far ahead.
What are some of the challenges that Middle Tennessee present?
Speed. They got great speed. They're athletic. On offense, obviously, Tony Franklin does a great job. I've known him a long time. He's going to spread you out. He does a great job running the football, so it's not a sense of he's going to be pass happy or anything like that. It's a true spread, and they'll run the football. They got a good quarterback. He's going to run a lot of the run pass options, which pose some issues defensively. D coordinator's aggressive. He mixes it up pretty well versus man and zone, but he's going to force you to make competitive plays. In the pass game, that's the same thing. He's going to make sure he has enough numbers in the box, he has enough hats, and muddy up your run game with a lot of stunts or pressures or whatever. So they do a great job. I think they're very well coached. They got really good players. It'll be an exciting challenge.
Talk about Stockstill. I mean, he's had a big year last year, and he's picked right up where he left off. Is he a pretty quality quarterback? Big challenge for that guy?
Is the what?
Brent, is he just got a big challenge facing that kind of guy with the way he's throwing the ball?
Yeah, it's challenging. It is when they're playing at a high level offensively, and I had never had the opportunity to be around Coach Stock much, until this past year, and he's got that program, and he has. I mean, he's solid, and he's got it in the right direction, and you can tell that he's got the right players in there, and he's developed them, and he's a really good football coach. He's a great man as well, and I'm sure he does a great job with his players. They play hard for him.
Well, I mean, Brent, their quarterback.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, same way. I mean, it's his kid, but
Right.
I mean, he seems to be playing really well this year. What does it that makes Brent Stockstill effective in this league?
Well, I think they put him in good positions. One, he understands the system very well, and he makes plays. I mean, it's like any quarterback that's comfortable in the system. Whenever you're not hesitant, you know where to go with the ball. He gets it out of his hands quick. It's not squeezing it, and so it also takes a lot of pressure off the guys up front. And so he's a good fit for their system, and he does a heck of a job. You can tell he's been around the game a long time. It's not like he hadn't grown up around the game, so he understands it. He's smart. He understands how to get his playmakers the ball, manage the football game.
Your guys' secondary has been pretty good this year. It was expected to be one of your strengths this year. It seems like they'll get a bit of a test this next week with Stockstill, and then you get Litton the next week against Marshall. Litton had a pretty good redshirt freshman year last year. Will that be a challenge for these guys, and how do you expect them to handle it?
It's going to be a challenge, there's no doubt, but I expect them to handle it well. They're a very competitive group. I like the way they've worked all fall camp and throughout the season. It's been a consistent group, and we just got to continue to. Coach Ruff and Coach Brown, they do a great job with those guys. And just like every position, you're going to get a week better, but they'll compete.
How do you handle Richie James?
Compete. I mean, that's all you can go out and do. Line up and do your job and compete. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. They're going to make plays, man. They got good enough players to make plays, and so our job is to make sure we make our plays as well. And at the end of the day, I worry about, again, you hear me talk all the time. I'm sure you get tired of me hearing it. All I care about is going out and competing, making competitive plays, being in the right frame of mind to go out there and win a football game. You're going to face great players, whether it's offense, defense, up front, back end, doesn't matter. Every team's going to have them. You got to win your one-on-one individual battles.
You got some experience back there in the secondary. Has that really paid off for you guys this year with a bunch of guys that have played some football?
Yeah, it's all experience. It's key, but really, the game experience is key. But they really had no experience within the system, so it was still a lot of learning. It was still a big learning curve from them, and I still don't think they're where we can be. I think they have a lot of potential. I think we have a high ceiling, and I still think we can be a lot better. But they've been probably the most consistent of any group. We just got to continue to get better, because I know we're better than even what we're playing right now.
Coach, what you mentioned you're happy for Kenny. What were some of the the adversity he had to overcome in the change from defensive back?
Well, minus 17 yards in the first quarter, that's adversity. Can't pinpoint which, they're all of I mean, that's down 17-0, that's adversity. I don't know how many was first half. 5 offside penalties on all third downs, that's adversity.
What about through camp, him learning
Oh,
the position
Kenny?
and the receiver? Yeah, Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, he's played. I mean, he hadn't played it in a while. You know, obviously in high school he played it, and I felt like it'd be a good fit for him. I really did, and I thought the thing that he would bring to that group as well is a mature, older guy in the room that could be another good voice, which we didn't have at the time. And so, again, he grinded it out. He's a great teammate. You know, did he really at first really want to do it? I don't know. He never really said. I know he's been doing some really good things at D-back in the past. This past year, he was out, and I think at that point he was just ready to come help whichever way. It's one thing, man, when you have to sit out for a year and through that adversity, makes you want it even more when you get back. And he's done a good job of getting himself back in football shape and learning the position. Again, he's done a good job. We just got to continue to work it and get better at our craft every week. I promise you that between now and week 12, week 13, whenever it is, we got to get a week better. And at the end of the day, at the end of the year, you should be a really good football team.
You guys pretty healthy going into the week?
Pretty healthy. We lost one up front. Probably not going to be available, but overall, other than that, we're pretty healthy. We got the same every week in, week out. We got some nicks and some bruises, and we're sore. And that's every team. But true injuries, we're pretty good.
In pregame warm-ups against Rice, I saw you rapping with your players. How would you describe your rapping?
Rapping with my players, man. Did I do that?
When you're trying to get them hyped in a huddle.
I don't know if I was rapping.
Oh, really?
Man, I honestly don't. Man, sometimes I blank out, but I would assume. I don't know if I've ever rapped, but maybe I did. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. You'd have to ask my guys if I was any good. You heard it? Did you hear it?
Yeah.
How'd it sound?
That sounded good.
Sounded pretty good?
Yeah.
You wouldn't tell me if it didn't, though, right?
I would.
There you go. Appreciate it.